Hello, Gemini. This is for Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. Today, we're talking about the month of February and your astrology horoscope or forecast. And I'm your astrologer, Lori Lothian. This is Western Tropical Astrology. Big news in your career front. Things are really dynamically ramping up for you, as well as a destiny portal is opening for the first time in 18 and a half years in a place of your chart that can indicate huge momentum towards travel, international publishing, book publishing, and more, but narrow it down to being deeply on purpose. Add to the mix that we have a huge amount of change that electrifies the chart as Uranus keeps getting activated by 4 planets in the month of February. And this can really radically shift your perspective on life. These kinds of changes can bring bolts of enlightenment, but it can also open you up in some fundamental way to a deeper sense of meaning and purpose in your life, while also collaterally benefiting unexpected opportunities around travel, romantic love at a distance, foreign lands, far off places, and more. Welcome, welcome. Let's break it down week by week. That's how we roll here. Before I get started on the week by week breakdown for the month ahead, don't forget that if you haven't purchased yet and you still want to, my 2026 All Signs video bundle, 12 videos, 2+ hours long each for your sign. There is a PDF guidebook of the year ahead. It's still for sale. It's in the description box below. It's a steal. It's only $55. Or if you want to get just your sign, it's only $22. I haven't seen any other astrologers pricing this low for the amount of content, but I hope it's useful to you. The point isn't the pricing. The point is that you can help navigate your life in 2026 with a little bit of astrological guidance, as if you had a reading with me, which I really don't do anymore. I need to put that underneath my videos. I reserve readings for very few people, former clients and Patreon community, but even then, I'm too busy writing a book. Okay, so we're going to move now into this year ahead. So I'm going to show you the chart, and we're going to take it step by step as we go through this sky. You are a Gemini. That's your symbol. This is the rising sign, sun and moon, part of the sky. When we're listening for a sun, we pretend it's in the first house. Same with the moon in Gemini. Sun, career purpose, and the true central nature of who you are. Moon, matters connected to your emotions and thinking complex, but also your home nest and where you live. And lastly, we're going to be talking about your rising sign. If you want to listen for that, that's your simulation avatar in the game. It's the character you play. Sun is the actor. Character in the movie is the ascendant. Ascendant is circumstantially very sensitive to change and very accurate for predictions. But as you get older, the sun also becomes that way as well. Let's get going. Older after 44. Most people really start to live into the sun. Let's get started with the Gemini story. As we begin February, on the first of the month, for the first week, 1 to 7, there is a full moon in Leo. It will be at 13 degrees. Let us move ahead into the month of February. Here you have the moon full and big in your third house. What is this good for? Well, approximately 6 months earlier, obviously there was a new moon here, which is Leo season, right? Which is third week of July to third week of August. There was a new moon in this part of the chart, indicating you planted a new seed. You wanted to begin something new. What was it that you wanted to begin? Well, it would probably something to do with travel, communication, writing in particular. This is the house of social media, websites, marketing, selling, learning, and teaching. And every year you plant a new moon here, and 6 months later, the fulfillment, completion, fruiting moon is here next. This moon is fulfilling the seed that was planted back in the day and giving it its form, like a tree with fruit on it. But it also can be about a completion as well. There's a sense of this is the highest it's going to go and the brightest it's going to go. So you might be capitalizing on a big spotlight here for writing projects in the next 6 months, for things to do with travel, or wherever this is domestic or shorter distance journeys, to connect you with new ideas, to expand and really light up your house of your social media landscape and your teaching landscape or your learning landscape. This also opens up a big spotlight on your daily activities in the local neighborhood and what you're up to. Because Venus and Mercury across the way are highly sociable energies, this could also indicate a lot of travel will happen in order to meet new people, to find new social and engaging with others and being a part of something larger than just your smaller world. I think as well, because of Mars's involvement across the way, this could also lead you you to more exposure to large groups of people in some way, like speaking in front of them or traveling to meet them. Or, for me, maybe I'll do a astrology course, retreat somewhere around the world. That would be fun for me. That's this kind of sky for all of the Geminis. I have a Gemini progressed sun, which is my career stuff right now. So that makes a bit of sense, is me creating an astrology retreat, maybe next fall. I think I'd have a blast doing that somewhere in the world. So I'm just giving you me as an example. Now, one thing I will say is that the full moon here, right? Big bright spotlight, is a pre-shadow of the eclipse that's going to happen in the month of August, which will be an eclipse in the sign of Leo. So I want you to remember that, because it's almost like a preview, foreshadow energy of new energies coming through. And that Leo eclipse is one example. And that will be a total eclipse, solar eclipse this August 12th. So, you're building up for some massive changes here for sure. And this kind of sky could even mean a change of location for where you live, connected to a new city, new town, or new neighborhood. And that may begin to ramp up off of this moon on February 1st, add 6 months. All right, moving into the next story, we're going to talk about your February Uranus direct motion on the 4th. And we all feel it, but it's not a day in the life of, it's quite intense because he's stationed to turn around. So it's a very deeply Uranian moment here on the fixed star Algol. So, the 3rd, the 4th of February, you're really feeling this intensity here. But the only thing I can say is the closest activator of it is Saturn and is Mercury. So there's something about a pivotal change, a deep surprise around something to do with career, the long game, the mastery, the strategy, publishing, book publishing, international. This could even be things to do with agents, publishers, maybe even something exciting like a massive surge of money. Uranus can bring that on a wealth star Algol in the 12th house of borderless income and digital revenue, but would come also through the energy of the 9th house too, where Mercury is activated. So that can be a publishing deal. That can be something going viral, maybe, that you put out into, the world of publishing. And that, I guess I could also call that the world of, Substack perhaps as well, because it's kind of like publishing your magazine, right? There's an idea of publishing something. All right, moving past that, just to keep it clear, Uranus won't be back into this part of your chart, right, for another 84 years. And he's been here since 2018. So a lot of Geminis have been going through a lot of enlightenment, pineal gland downloads, sudden shocking insights and downloads about past lives and karma and God and truth. That's been a story for you, as well as some erratic things to do with the way you make money if you work internationally for an international company. This is ending. And as Uranus is going into a direct motion here on February the 4th or so, you can pretty well look at February 4th to April 26th as he finishes his grand finale in your Taurus sky, that this direct motion will indicate which way you're going. This is this way to Timbuktu. You're heading in this direction. You know what you're doing. And Venus is managing that from the 9th house. A lot of you will get deeply involved in higher education, book publishing, foreign lands and travel, pilgrimages, retreats, education, and spirituality over these months through to the 26th of April. Now, on February the 5th, Mercury will square Uranus. Mercury square Uranus is the first of 4 such activations, which brings surprises and unexpected events. So on the 4th, 5th of the month, you see that Mercury gets into a tight tangle here with the square to Uranus. It's going to be an unexpected, surprising bit of news. Mercury tells you something you need to know. Look for the email, phone call, text from a foreigner, a foreign land, an educational, higher educational institution, from a spiritual guide or teacher, mentor, some kind of information coming through to do with the opportunity for a trip to a foreign land. If that happens, the answer should be yes. You're meant to take that journey. That would be the ideal story for you at this time. And it would be exciting, exhilarating, and somehow critically important. Now, on the month of, and a legal matter, getting the lawyer, the judge, the notification, something important is happening around those things as well on February the 5th. On February 4th, 5th, on February the 6th, Mercury will head into the next sign. He's going to move into Pisces. Now, Mercury is going to shock you by being here till April 15th. because of retrogradation. He will retrograde on the 26th of February. To make it simple, this month is the beginning of you heading in a certain direction professionally and beginning to rethink it on February 26th. Okay. And then kind of go backtracking, I'm not too sure about that. Maybe I have to rethink that idea. Okay. So don't overthink it, but it's just that you're going to go forward and then you're going to go backwards and then you're going to make up your mind. So there's something going on here that you might think, oh, I've got this. This is the direction I'm going, North Node, Mercury. And you're right, probably, but it needs some refinement. And Mercury has kind of a fuddled mind in Pisces and not totally altogether seeing the details. So big picture thinking about your career, yes, the finer details are not quite there. And so don't be rushing in career advancement, visions, goals, plans. Take a deeper breath. Understand that as Mercury enters this part of your chart in February, around the February the 6th, you can count on the story lasting until mid-April. If I was in your boots and your shoes, if you're looking for a job and when he goes retrograde around the 26th of February, add 3 weeks. That's a good time to get a job from a place you've been employed before, or to go back and do a type of work you've done before in the past, or hear from old bosses. But otherwise, take a deep breath and know that you're going to be sort of zigzagging and making changes and changing your mind as Mercury will be in a retrograde in Pisces. And he gets to the 22nd degree of Pisces. So if your Gemini sun, moon, or rising is near the 22nd degree in particular, I'd say between 18 to 22, especially, you are really pivoting, Geminis. You go like, okay, I was going this way. Now I'm going to go back this way. I'm changing my mind. I'm going to refine or revise and rethink. Okay, now, and by the way, Mercury up here makes you very good at being on like a stage with a microphone, or having announcements, or doing a lot of marketing and selling the big dream or vision in your career space. He's good for that, and negotiating new terms for your career with your boss. Now, moving on February the 8th, Venus will square Uranus. Venus in Uranus is a second square to Uranus. Remember, Mercury on February 5th, Venus on February the 8th. Venus is a benefic. She's squaring Uranus in her kingdom. All said and done, she might be taking cue from what Mercury began on February 5th, so that by time you get to February the 8th, this square from Venus will be 7th, 8th, 9th, okay, 7th, 8th, more accurate. You're going to 7th, 8th, 9th of February, you're going to get a surprise, an unexpected twist or in the tail, an unexpected turn, okay? And you'll notice that the moon is angling into it as well in the work house. So an unexpected work opportunity may be occurring here, connected to foreign lands, distant shores, publishing, book publishing, and foreign people. Venus is a benefic, and she's definitely going to be trying to bring it. She's visible around February 17th. So be patient. This surprise then unfolds like a domino to around mid-February, when then you see the results of whatever this invitation is. And with Mercury in the 10th house, it could be a career opportunity invitation of some kind coming your way. Already, when with Jupiter in your second house flowing to the North Node, Mercury, Saturn, it is definitely a lucky time in your career anyway. And this could be an invitation of some sort. You'll let me know, won't you? I hope you will. And when we move into around the 10th, Venus will slide away into your 10th house on February the 10th. And now she will be in this part of your chart, and we call her exalted here. And she's going to help Mercury behave a little bit better while she's here, because she's in such powerful state of being, and she's flowing to Jupiter as well. So this is a very powerful career opportunity and advancement time that begins for you on February the 10th. And you'll notice that Venus will be here for quite a long time. In fact, she doesn't leave your 10th house until March the 6th. This is going to indicate, especially with the flow to Jupiter, who turns direct on March the 11th. But again, it's going to indicate there's a lot of flow between Jupiter and your 10th house. And, Jupiter retrograde in Indian astrology, Vedic, will activate the first house of your identity as well. So it could bring you celebrity. It could bring you more money. It could bring you like reaching the top of some kind of peak experience, with Saturn still there for a while. Saturn's there until February 14th. So there's I would even say that February 10th to the 14th, you're really just rolling in, you're living the high life. Something good is happening to you personally, connected to your career story. Okay. But it's still going to linger all the way through until, as I said, she exits on March the 6th. And what I like about that too is the North Node volumes up and expands our worldly success. And when you get a benefic exalted Venus up here with Saturn as well, it's going to give you some new levels. Like if you're a mountain climber and you get to base camp, okay, that's not base camp. You're like the one ledge down from the top of the Mount Everest. Okay, so it's going to take you up another level that you're going to stay at. Saturn's baking it in. When her ingress is there, Saturn's there. It says, okay, that means until March the 6th, the vibration is leveling up to a level of authority and mastery in your career. Could be a raise, could be a promotion, could be a new level of success in the eyes of the world. Keep on keeping on. All right, moving into Mercury and the North Node on the 11th and 12th. Now, this is not going to just be Mercury. Venus will do the same thing. But Mercury is news and information. North Node is destined and increase and volume up and worldly success. Because of Venus, this makes it very much about a benefic opportunity or some increase of your worldly success in the eyes of the world. Your visible reputation is expanding. You could say, and Saturn's still there, meaning lasting results, new level of mastery. So whatever this is, I think you're going to like it. I like it for us because I've got a little energy there. And this, well, we'll see how it plays out. Now, don't forget, the whole month started with that stellium here in Aquarius, right? That was a real intense energy of everybody hanging out in that 9th house, which I covered in a video that came out before this one, how to handle that stellium in Aquarius. Go watch it. But it will be mid-February that we're going to lose the intensity of the sky when Mars is going to cross out of here. So I want you to keep watching the story, but you'll see right now what was 5 planetary energies here. Now that Venus and Mercury have left, is beginning to dwindle the intensity of the 9th house, which is about being on purpose, finding meaning, aligning with your true north. And you've been doing that already from January 23rd. And by the time we get Mars out of here, we'll get to that in a minute, you're going to feel the energy is loosening its grip, right? You're not so intensely focused on all of this. And Mars will leave on March the 2nd. He'll get into Pisces. Now, look at this career energy, guys. This is insane. The North Node is lovely with Mercury. I think it's going to, because Venus is bonifying the node, I don't think it'll be as damaging. I mean, because sometimes the North Node can be like a malefic energy. I'd be careful in this time frame, right here, like February 12th, a day or two before and after, about communicating something without being precise. You know, Mercury would be like, I'm telling everybody this in front of the boardroom or the boss or in front of the public, and I got a microphone in my hand, but, you know, be careful. Although I like Mercury here for you, he is, because Jupiter's flowing to him, he does kind of have a big, you know, visionary, mystical quality, and he can miss the details. So be careful that you don't just spout out some kind of big picture meme without giving people practical details, right, in the boardroom or whatever this is. All right, moving into the news story, our golden destined career opportunity emerges, right? Around February 11th and February 12th. Oh, I have to talk fast, guys. I need to get through all of it within half an hour. On February the 13th, 14th, finally, we see that Saturn will leave the 10th house. Now, he's been in Pisces since March of 23, and he's leaving for another 30 years. So this should feel like a bit of a relief, right? And he'll be in Aries now for until 2028. And he last spent time in Aries in 1996 to 1999. So for you, you're kind of recapitulating that, but it's different just because we have Neptune here as well. And these two together last happened in like 1703 in this part of the sky, but not at this degree. So energetically speaking, what you're going to start doing is bringing structure, form, discipline, and the long game marathon strategy and mastery to what you want to accomplish by influencing large groups of people in a way that is connected to your career. And it's also, you could simply say something along the lines of your career path, its rewards and the gains of your career have structure and long form, long tail strategy. And Neptune is good for you if you're a filmmaker, a photographer, a glamour type, a model, Hollywoody, but also good for any channels on YouTube that are, like YouTube, any videography platforms as well. And you might be saying you're trying to make your dreams real too. Your long range goals, wishes, and plans for your life belong to the 11th house. And you'll begin to actually try to carve out a real outward picture of your long range plans, goals, and dreams. And this is again, like 96, 97, 98 into 1999. So you've got a comparison at that point, right? If you want to go back in time and compare. It was for me the height of my psychic readings career, and I was extremely successful. So now let's get moving on to the next story. By the way, you could drop a friend or two on this ingress, right? If you have a friend that is deceptive, manipulative, or mentally ill, or an alcoholic or something, or a drug addict, this could lead to containing and restricting contact with those types of people in your life and bringing you different types of visionary and spiritual type friends into your world. Now, moving into the next piece of the sky, we want to talk about, because now we're on February 14th, so we're in the second week. We want to talk about the fact that just as we get rid of the, week this week, we slide on the 15th. So from the sort of 14th, 15th to the 21st, we slide into the Uranus shock, awe, surprise, unexpected, erratic energy yet again. And that's because you'll see that the sun now squares Uranus, just like Mercury and Venus did. So ultimately, here we go again. Well, the sun is the ruler of Leo, which is your third house. So a surprise may come through connected to travel opportunities, writing, neighbors, neighborhoods, siblings, particularly a sibling one younger or a sibling two older. There could be some movement towards some financial situation, some gains coming from the 12th house Uranus connected to writing, communicating, social media, traveling, publishing, book publishing. You could get an unexpected surprise regarding an educational opportunity. And at last, you might get an unexpected opportunity to travel. Sun rules your third house of short travel, and he's in the house of is joy in the house of long distance travel. So surprising travel opportunities to distant shores that come out of the blue. Again, you get a lot of this energy, and that would be February 15th, 16th or so. It starts to build up as early as the 14th, 15th, 16th. Okay. So look for travel, especially in this part of this February. It's an opportunity to travel. It's probably not you traveling, but it could be that too. All right. Now, you get notice of an opportunity. On the 16th and 17th, Mercury will trine Jupiter. Mercury up here, Jupiter here, earnings, money, pocketbook, wallet, savings, earned income. Mercury, career. What the heck? What is that, guys? Jupiter's backing into Mercury, and in Vedic astrology kind of dominates the archetype of the first house as well. So you're going to look at money issues here that are positive, that are coming through your sky. And with Mercury in your 10th house, also he could translate that. I'm not saying he will, but he could translate some of that energy if he wants to personal gains. Like he's a ruler of your sun, your career, your moon, your home, Gemini moon, your rising sign. So any part of you, he's the Lord of your sign. You could find yourself, kaboom, I really love this lucky break. Good news, lucky break. Let's call it good news, lucky break. 16th, 17th of the month. 15th, 16th, 17th of the month. Good news, lucky break. Hits you in the pocketbook and the wallet in a very good way. May involve an opportunity to speak in front of a large group of people, to influence people, to be maybe on somebody's podcast or show, these kinds of things, TV, radio, whatever you guys are up to. Raise promotions, yes, absolutely, that as well. But connected to the past, you deserve this. You've been waiting for this moment. Jupiter retrograde. Now moving into the solar eclipse of the portal of destiny opens on the 17th. This is an eclipse that is complicated but important because it's not just involving one place. No, normally they do. This is not true. It's a hybrid eclipse. We have the eclipse occurring here, right? The moon and the sun will be co-joined together on February 17th at 28 degrees, almost 29 degrees of Aquarius. And that will open up a portal of some change. It's destined when it comes to international, foreign countries, education, pilgrimages, meaning, purpose, book publishing, and more. Publications, book publishing, and more. This energy is going to open a door that will become even wider open as we move into next year's eclipse in Aquarius, which is going to be a completely Aquarian energy next winter. So this kind of thing, this eclipse the door's cracking open, not wide open. Book publishing, yeah. Traveling internationally, yeah. Being meaningfully on purpose, yes. And with Mars and Pluto, it's unlike the other years that you had these eclipses. I hear the question, when were the other years? 2008, 2009. And also you had the same eclipse energy moving through here in 1989 to 1991. And so this whole energy field here is reactivated like those years, but not like those years because of Pluto. Something deep. You're being purposed by an evolutionary force bigger than you to do something meaningful for humanity. So there's a heavy, intense, but powerful energy here, unlike in the past. And it activates as well your career and visibility in the world because of the North Node of Destiny connected to the reason there is an eclipse. So it's both 9th and 10th house. If I had to guess, this is giving you a bell ringer for some of you of an ability to be an international success or to become successful in your career if you want to publish a book or if you want to teach, if you want to go back to school for professional re-education. Success, destined. Doors are opening. All right. Travel internationally as well. Doors are opening. Solar eclipse can also bring endings as well as beginnings. You could have an ending of a religious or spiritual philosophy or path. You might finish up or complete some educational journey that you've been on, and on we go. Moving into the next story. We'll do a deep dive on that eclipse, right? So that's why you should like and subscribe to my channel. And welcome to the 6,900 new subscribers that have come onto my channel in the last 28 days. I'm recording this on January 20th. I am so grateful, if I didn't say that already, that you're here. Now, tell me in the comments if you're new. I'd love to know. So anyway, moving on to the Venus North Node conjunction as well on the same day. Now, you remember how we talked about Mercury co-joining the North Node? This is round 2, right? Mercury did the same dealio, and that was on That was on the 11th, 12th. Now here we are all the way to the 17th. Now it's interesting to me and rather auspicious that Venus has co-joined the North Node from a state of exaltation, right? Well, this eclipse will be occurring on February 17th. So there's something that almost I call bonifies the situation and makes Rahu less aggressive and more beneficial. Okay, so keep that in mind too. And Venus can translate that to incredible success for artistic, creative, and entrepreneurial people, or making digital borderless income or money from foreign entities and foreign trade. Now, as we move into the next story. Okay. On the 20th, we were all waiting for the perfect conjunction, more or less, of Saturn and Neptune, which we haven't seen in this part of the sky for hundreds and hundreds of years. That last time was 1703, so coming into a conjunction. So here we have this thing that's dominating our attention. In fact, we're feeling it all month long after the ingress of Saturn into this part of the chart on the 14th of February. In the second half of the month, we feel this energy very strongly. The exact conjunction is just the starting point of a new energy synthesis in our sky. And because we're going to kind of live into it for 3 years, right? Till 2028, I'm not going to say what it is. You have to live into it. But I'd say you want to pioneer something new with discipline and perseverance. Watch for impatience and recklessness in your career gains and in how you influence large groups of people and in the types of social groups you want to belong to. For example, I have a progressed Gemini sun. Saturn means sober and realistic. Sober. Neptune is addiction, sober-minded and free of addictions, right? That's an example. In fact, I have quit alcohol. So I'm on an alcohol-free lifestyle right now. And I was just a gray zone drinker, right? I just drank wine with dinner, but I don't want it in my body anymore at this time. So, I might cultivate friends who are non-drinkers. So or you might cultivate friends that are more mystical, intuitive, magical, enlightened, Okay, so there's something new developing, and it's just the seed planting on the 20th, and you'll see it unfold over 3 years. Elder friends can be coming into your life. Saturn represents the elder. If you're, in your 30s, you always hang out with your crew, you'll be bringing older people into your life as friends. This is another feature of this story, as well as maybe spiritual people as well. Moving into the next story, please. Remember I told you about the good news that happened on the 16th, 17th? Yeah. Well, now we have more than good news. We have blessed news, right? Blessed news is coming through when Venus then decides she's going to hook up with Jupiter. Let's take a look at that timing. That will be around Venus trine Jupiter, the 22nd of the month. So Venus trining Jupiter, and Jupiter's moving towards Venus and she's moving towards him. They're coming into a union, thanks to Jupiter retrograde. There is something coming into being by a collaborative effort between the two benefic planets, Venus and Jupiter, and it's career and money success of some sort. That's the best I can do. My Gemini progressed sun is happy to see this. And so career and money success coming your way, increasing your earnings, more earned income, bigger paychecks, better working conditions, more satisfaction in your, also feeling more faithful, optimistic, and hopeful about your career and your money and your financial situation in general. And then we move into the third week. We're talking about the 21st, 22nd to the, end of the month, the 28th, right? So this Venus trine is the first of that. I should have mentioned it. And now we move forward into Mars square Uranus. So this is the fourth unexpected shock and surprise. It was Mercury squaring Uranus on February 5th, Venus on February 8th, the Sun on February 16th or so, and kaboom, the last big bomb of some kind of change, unexpected, radical, new directions. Mars is in the ninth house. This is, again, an interesting story. The stellium has gotten away from us now that the sun has moved on. We no longer are waiting in that ninth house. We're waiting the career house, as I said in the intro. But this can be a change of mind or decision or an action plan. Mars decides and chooses and then takes action. Likely action will have to wait till mid-March when he's visible, but he's deciding something. Major decisions are going down around education, travel, book publishing, life purpose and meaning, right up here. And because it squares Uranus in the 12th house, kaboom. It's something to do. Also, father figures in the hospital, especially when I even go back a bit and see the sun there, right? So solar figures like father figures, injuries, death and rebirth crises, hospital, shock, surprise, news. Okay, there's that. I can't ignore that. Now, the other thing I think Mars might do is he might want to force your hand on a trip. He's kind of like, okay, let's be blunt here. It's time to travel. You got to take this. I know you don't really like you got too much going on, but we were seeing a lot of building for international or distant land travel coming through this sky. Mars is ruling the work house. So if you do want to travel or move or go abroad, it is connecting to work opportunities or job opportunities as much as anything, and career gains. But he could be saying like, decide now, we need to take action and make a decision about a travel opportunity. And he's very strongly forceful towards getting it to happen, but there's a surprising element. You don't need necessarily, you haven't been ready to plan it, or planning it hasn't been on your radar. And I've been hinting at that all month long because of the Mercury Venus also doing the same thing in the sun, that underneath the umbrella of all of February is some really powerful opportunity to travel for work-related reasons that you should say yes to. Now, moving forward, on the 26th, Mercury will retrograde at 22 degrees of Pisces. His backwards motion is going to last for about 3 weeks. Long story short, we'll be covering that when we get to it. He doesn't leave your 10th house till mid-April. I just want to mention that this energy of a stationary planet is potent. So on the 22nd or so, pay attention to information, news. Okay, 21st, 22nd, pay attention to information and news that you're getting regarding matters to do with your career, phone calls, text messages, and emails. That stationary moment is powerful and it's not incidental, right? It's not like, oh, big deal, he's stationary. No, you need to pay attention to him when he's stationary here. There's retrograding, you see, on the 26th. And he's still, now he's getting closer to wanted to hook up with Uranus, that's called a refrainment. It could be something like there were plans to do with career and the word borderless income, digital revenue, far off lands, distant shores, projects you wanted to do in solitude alone. You have to delay here, or rethinking, revising around February 26th. On the 27th, the sun will conjunct the North Node, as did Venus on the 17th, as did Mercury on the 12th or so. So now we get the sun. Now, Sun North Node is going to amplify or increase the energies of your third house. Third house, what is third house? Third house is stuff to do with travel, writing, communicating, marketing, selling, teaching, learning, local neighborhood environment. And it's an interesting time because it could be also opening up a new property opportunity, a place to move that would be a rental opportunity, because Mars, as he dips over here early March, will open up rental opportunities and changes of home. And the South Node here says, let go, release, and surrender a home. You may be having the first clue coming off the Sun North Node that a change of city, town, or locale of residence is being called, or you might want to travel so much that you spend significant time in another country. This could be a story that wants to get your attention very strongly, but it's also very good for worldly success, for writing, teaching, communicating, marketing, and selling. And you'll feel the, yippity doo-dah around February 26th. Now, last but not least, there is a Mercury-Venus conjunction on the 28th as Mercury backs into Venus. I can't do that without losing your ascendant, but you have to trust me that these babies are holding hands on February 28th. And it's like, oh, wow, this is great. That's another one of those things I call a good news transit. Okay, what's the good news? I don't know what it is. You'll have to let me know. Good news about career, positive golden opportunities connected to career purpose. Okay, you're retired. What are you doing? You got your best golf score ever. Okay, but you feel some sense of accomplishment, success, and luck, and opportunity connected to your visible actions in the world. Sometimes maybe this is like the house of weddings, and you might get a wedding proposal, or you might get an invitation to somebody's wedding. All right, that kind of thing. You might hear about somebody's wedding announcement and you're really delighted and happy for that person, especially your children. Yeah, because Venus rules the house of your children. All right, that's what we've got. And I hope that was useful. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. This is my channel. I teach classes. Check out my description box below for my website stuff. I write on Substack World Astrology without worrying I'd be shadow banned, deplatformed, or demonetized. I do Patreon community where I teach classes, meet with you in small group settings, and have a lot of fun. There are different tiers, and you get all my YouTube content early access ad free. And last but not least, I also do, what else do I do? I'm so busy. I have a join button here on YouTube. Join my channel. I do live streams, and I also do teaching materials I put out for you and stuff that's not available elsewhere, including free access to Chiron, the key to purpose, and Chiron for life cycle timing. These are gifts to you by joining my membership. You can join for a month for $5, $3.50 American, and then you can leave and you can still take the gifts with you. All right, because they're just back-ended in my members platform. Thanks for listening. See you guys later. Ciao. Like, subscribe, please. Thank you.